Biden has decided to issue a new directive, which is just pay less idiots for oil. Dumdos. Why didn't
anybody think of this sooner?
Yeah, big brain move from the dear leader. And I thought we'd mention first, of course, just the politics of the death of Stalin on lotusears.com, which you can go and check out if you're a subscribed member, which is also a place in which the politics is just utterly retarded, and seemingly so in the White House still. So if we go back just a little bit to previous history, of course, Biden campaigning, in which he openly says he would transition away from the oil industry. Good. He's promising to destroy it. And if we go to the next one here, he campaigned in the primaries as well, saying here to Bernie Sanders, no more subsidies for the fossil fuel industry, no more drilling, including offshore, no more ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. It ends. Pretty stock rhetoric, pretty open about what he's going to do. And then, of course, he got into power. Don't know how that happened. Go to the next one. We can see the executive orders in which, of course, day one, revoking the March 2019 permit for the Keystone XL pipeline. And then the next executive order being on day two, pause for all new oil and natural gas leases on public lands. Okay, so promises made, promises kept. Actively.
I mean, fair play, you know. I've never seen it from a politician before. Congratulations, you put a stupid idea. Yeah. And then you went ahead with the stupid idea.
And there's a whole bunch of other things. If we go to the next one, Ted Cruz just noted, those are just two executive orders I've brought up, but there are loads of other things, as Ted staff has noted here, that influenced the price of oil in the United States. And, well, certainly didn't help it, even if the impact is not massive, that's for sure. But if we go to the next one here, we then have the latest news on this, which is Biden saying that he's calling on Congress to suspend the federal gas tax for the next 90 days through the busy summer season. Presumably, as Nuance Bro points out, Joe Biden is getting so screwed in his own approval ratings that he's now decided he's going to eliminate the gas tax, even though he ran on literally destroying fossil fuels, specifically the oil industry, as we saw. And of course, this comes on from the endless whining that this is Putin's fault, which is why he's able to control it, not Putin, which... Let's not talk about that for a minute. Mm-hmm. Let me go to the next one here. He is continuing to talk about the fact that this is Putin's price hike. I mean, me and Carl have looked at this a lot because no one's buying it, of course. I mean, not even Democrats think this is true. This is obviously just cope. But I wonder if it is just them going with the old Goebbels familiar, which is, you know, if you say a lie often enough, eventually it'll come true. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Otherwise, what's the point?
If we believe in the magic.
Yeah, and this is all kind of, I don't know, it's desperate, to say the least, obviously, that the President of the United States has done such a terrible job. He's now, all right, what if there's no, we'll just take off the tax.
I mean,
I was like,
desperate's a good term for it. I would expand that out to be so far the Biden administration has had the character of someone desperately trying to rush to the toilet after soiling themselves.
Yes, and this is just the latest iteration of it, but it's just the fact that, as Nuance Bro said, like a guy who campaigned on destroying the oil industry, now getting rid of all taxes on oil for 90 days, or at least pledging to at the federal level. I
mean, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not in favor of subsidizing industries that sort of like corporate welfare doesn't really sit well with me because, you know, if I'm not in favor of like protectionism, but the other taxes and other such things on top of it wouldn't have been helping those industries in the first place.
Well, so as a libertarian, I imagine you've got the question on your mind, who will pay for the roads? Which is apparently nobody. so of course the federal gas tax paying for the roads, and then the fact that, well, who's going to pay for them? Well, people who don't use the roads now, because that's how that's going to work. But I saw even CNN have now turned on President Biden, which I was not expecting. Anyone had that on the bingo card.
I feel like the cathedral, the legacy media are turning on Biden. I mean, they've kind of been in the shift for a few months now, actually, primarily because they're probably going to put a different face on the campaign when it comes around to 2024, because Biden has been such a public and obvious embarrassment for them all.
A new suit, rainbow flag, it'll work this time, we swear.
Yeah, they're going to replace him with Kamala, which will go well.
And whoever else, you know, some stock person. And as you can see here, even CNN decided to play a clip of a Barack Obama attacking, well, now, Joe Biden. Let's play.
He'll ask Congress to suspend the federal gas tax for 3 months. He says it will provide some relief to Americans battered by record high gas prices. This move would shave off about 18 cents per gallon of gas and 24 cents per gallon of diesel. But the move faces a skeptical Congress. Would this really help? Or is it just a ploy for political mileage? And President Biden will have to counter this dismal dismissal, I should say, by then candidate Barack Obama in 2008.
We're arguing over a gimmick to save you half a tank of gas. Over the course of the entire summer, so that everyone in Washington can pat themselves on the back and say that they did something. Well, let me tell you something. This isn't an idea designed to get you through the summer. It's an idea designed to get them through an election.
I mean, it's just weird to see. Like, I feel like I've entered Bizarro World, in which CNN is running attack clips against, Democrat presidents.
Using Obama?
Yeah, using Obama as well, which is just all kinds of strange. But
at the end of the day, if they wanted to do anything to actually help, the gas tax holiday would not be for 3 months. It would be forever.
But then who would pay for the highways? That's the question. And it's like, well, you either put them privately or you don't do this. But that's the obvious point as well, which is by Obama, which is actually a good point, which is that this is obviously just, I need some help because I'm losing bad. There's also the obvious point, 18 cents. Are you happy? We took a whole 18 cents a ruse off the price. Ooh. I was like, well, it's gone up on average $2.50 per gallon. But okay, a whole 18 cents.
Well, now it's only $2.32, so whoo.
Fantastic. And Biden decided to do a whole bunch of press conferences or speeches about this, trying to gin up support that he'd done something amazing, presumably, which he obviously hasn't. And this next segment here is just, as a clip here, I'm saying, my Republicans friend claim we're not producing enough oil, that I'm limiting oil production. Quite frankly, that's nonsense. Like, well, it was your party that did the lockdowns, which then destroyed everything, and has now had the knock-on effects here. And also the idea... It was
his policy that shut down the Keystone Pipeline.
Yeah, or the federal land stuff. It's like, well, you're not doing anything to help it, that's for damn sure.
No, they're absolutely not.
They're absolute nonsense. And then if we go to the next one, this is where we just get the amazing just buy it for cheaper, morons moment, in which he decides to go and say that, quote, to the companies running gas stations and setting those prices at the pump, this is a time of war, bring down the price you are charging at the pump, do it now. As if it's just charge less, idiot. I'm like,
yeah.
Why would they do that? Like, if it costs X, they need to make profit Y. It's like, well, okay, just charge less. It's like, yeah, just bring your cost down. I mean, it's like listening to a child. Let's play.
Companies running gas stations and setting those prices at the pump. This is a time of war, global peril, Ukraine. These are not normal times. Bring down the price you are charging at the pump to reflect the cost you are paying for the product. Do it now. Do it today. Your customers, the American people, they need relief now.
Once again, speaking to us like we're all babies.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, just pay less. Just have the costs go down.
So what he's asking for really there is probably this, I imagine this is all going to be leading up to some kind of, I would not be surprised if they put some kind of federal price controls on it, which is going to be very bad if they do that. Price controls never work on anything, because that's essentially what he's suggesting there. Just put your own price controls on so we don't have to, which will only result in a few things, which will be shortages, people losing their jobs, or just businesses going bust.
Price controls never work.
No, of course not.
Obvious nonsense. But I just can't get over the framing here, the fact that he's like, just lower the costs. I mean, like he is an actual teenager saying, if you're homeless, just buy a home. Idiot. And if you go to the next one here, I mean, this is the meme itself, which is just like TikTok thought solves world homelessness by saying, buy a home, moron. You got Biden being like, just pay less for gas, idiots.
You know, she's got a point, though. She's got a point. Why don't you just buy a house, dude?
Yeah. I love this meme, in fact, has a whole bunch of examples where they're just like, oh, wow, if you're disabled, just stop being disabled, idiot. Disabledness goes to 0.
Yeah. Lost your arm, just grow another one.
That is really the level of economics we're dealing with, which is TikTok thottery, if nothing else. And there's also the fact that obviously, he knows nothing about the oil industry by that statement, if nothing else. I mean, I don't either. I don't know what the oil industry is.
I don't really know enough about the American oil situation to make too much commentary on this, sadly.
No. But I did have a few guys in the Athens Discord who did try to explain it. And there was one guy in particular who had a crack at it, and I'm going to butcher it, but...
Here we go.
The summation of what I got out of him was essentially like, we're running oil refineries at maximum capacity. And there's the fact that, well, if you want to lower the cost of the refineries are paying, well, then lower the EPA regulations on them, because that's the thing that's massively upped them in the last couple of years.
There you go.
I was like, well, okay, that's the sort of guy who explained to me, which is one of the main problems. It's like, even if we could just drill more, it's going to take like 9 months to sort everything out because everything's just buggered, thanks to the lockdowns and everything anyway. But then, no one is helping them in federal government land, which certainly seems to be true. And then we have this, which was echoed by the diversity hire here, saying oil companies should just be patriots and lower the gas prices.
Yeah, there you go. Once again,
I don't know what.
see, this is all just coming across like state threats to me. Once again, this is do it before we do it for you.
Essentially, it's just like, okay, this is normal. I mean, I love the idea. Do you remember when they did that graphic? It was like the average cost of Thanksgiving is down 7 cents this year, which was obviously not true anyway. But then the idea of just being like, you're charging that much for turkeys? Well, just lower the price, moron. It's just like, if you don't, well, presumably you're going to nationalize the turkeys as well.
Yep.
Friggin' mad. Anyway, but if we go to the next one here, we can see that the petroleum, well, community, petroleum race, have done something in response, it seems. As you can see here, this is a letter that the American Petroleum Institute wrote to President Biden, in which they're like, hey, you could do these things to help us. And they literally give him like a list of 10 things, which is just like, just do these stuff. And this would help the situation.
And all of it, you'll see there, lift development restrictions, fix these permits, blah, 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 blah. Most of this will be stop getting in our way.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God, stop trying so hard, because whenever the government tries anything, it blows up in their face. And Biden will just go, no, just do it.
Well, yeah, he got no response to this letter, apparently. However, if we go to the next one here, there is another letter. This one from the CEO of the Chevron, who did write a letter, and I read most of it, and it's just him mostly sucking off Joe Biden in this letter, which is like, look, my glorious leader, who we will work together on this, I swear. And well, he was very polite, to say the least, to Biden, and saying, look, but here's how you could help. What was the response from Biden? What do you think?
Nothing?
No, worse. If we go to the next one. Biden responded to this by saying, it's mildly sensitive. I didn't know they'd get their feelings hurt that quickly.
He's just saying, I'm sorry, soy cooks. Are you not reducing the price yet, beta?
I have no gratitude whatsoever. It's like the people in the industry being like, hey, okay, we'll have a conversation. Here's what you can do to help. Get rid of these regulations. Morons. What? We're trying to work with you. And not even the slightest bit of reciprocation, which is just instead like, why are you getting your feelings hurt?
Biden just cracks his knuckles, puts down the child he's been sniffing.
Where am I? If we go forward, it just gets worse as well, because he gave another speech in which he said, for Republicans criticizing me for high gas prices in America, are you now saying we were wrong to support Ukraine and to stand up to Putin? Are you saying that we'd rather have lower gas prices in America than Putin's iron fist in Europe?
Yes.
You don't want to ask that question.
Literally everybody wants that. It is a foreign war that you've got no business in.
Well, that's the point. I mean, for us in Europe, there's more contention. Eastern Europeans obviously have major concerns. But the question fundamentally for American citizens and American taxpayers and gas payers, which is, well, can they think of a single vital US interest in Ukraine? Except Joe Biden's family. No. And that's the question that keeps going down to for Americans. So it's completely understandable as to why they're just like, well, yeah, of course we'd have lower gas prices than weird interests in a country I've never heard of.
It's just got... It's not just that as well. They justify it sort of like philosophically and ideologically with this sort of continuation of the old Rhino Warhawk lines of like, oh, we need to protect democracies wherever they are in the world. No, you don't. No, who cares?
I mean, this comes off the back of, what was it? Ukraine has now banned the opposition party, which,
Oh, much democracy.
Very based. Anyway, let's go to the next one here. Because then we have, obviously, the point as well listed, just the foreign aid, if nothing else, the $54 billion US, which, for any Ukrainians watching, won't end up with Ukrainians, of course. Because I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene released the fact that most of the politicians who approve this have their own families, have NGOs who work in these countries, who are set up just to help the poor,
so they're going to get some nice bonuses this Christmas then.
Yeah, it'll end up in the hands of NGOs who are run by politicians' families who voted for it. It won't even end up with the Ukrainian soldier.
Once again, much democracy.
Yeah, would you rather that money went to the American people instead in a tax cut, of course, but too bad. And then if we go to the next one, there is more response from his administration, which again is comical. And this one being the fact that the only way to get out of this is to continue doing what we're doing. I mean, it's like listening to Mao Zedong. It's just like the real problem is the rightists. They're the ones who have slowed us down.
If everybody just praises Mao more, everything will be solved.
Yeah. So this is the energy secretary who gave a speech. Let's play this one.
The real truth is that as long as our nation remains overly reliant on oil and fossil fuels, we'll feel these price shocks again. This is not going to be the last time. The next time there's a war, the next time there's a pandemic or another hurricane, these extreme weather events we are experiencing, they will impact the access that we have to fossil fuels. The only way out of these boom and bust cycles is to break that sole reliance, and that means diversifying our fuel sources by deploying clean energy.
I hate these people talking about boom bust cycles when they've no idea what causes them.
No, but there's also just the obvious retardedness. I mean, we're going back to just buy a Tesla, bro, there. It's like, did you know your gas costs a lot? Well, just, we'll diversify our energy needs, and then it won't happen.
The random blue or white collar American who's being screwed over by this is not going to be helped in any way by just saying, look at this 60 grand Tesla. Can't you take a loan, bro? Yeah.
There's also the obvious point, as you mentioned in there, when we have another war or another pandemic, etc. It's like, no, none of these things were caused by that. But yeah, this is not caused by Putin. This is caused by a democratic attack on reason itself by saying that, we'll just attack the idea that you could produce oil and nothing will happen. Trust us. It's like, no, promises made, promises kept. Also, we can see here, this is just the energy information website here, showing that if you scroll down, the US does actually already have a pretty diverse source of energy as well. The idea that they're not doing this is just nuts, but whatever. And then we go to the last one here, which is the fundamental argument. This not via a member of the administration, but on MSNBC, so, the regime's media. And you can see here, this is a guest who decided to go out with it. And I imagine this is how they all really feel, which is, shut up. Just take it. I'm not joking. This is our argument. Need you to stop moaning. Let's play.
I'm just going to say this, and if I get banged for it, I don't care. There is a great deal of Americans where it is uncomfortable that they're spending more, but they are not going to go under. You got to stop complaining when there's so many people who literally the inflation rate means they may only have 2 meals instead of 3. There are Americans who did extremely well in the last 2 years in the market. You still have your job. And yeah, it's costing you more for gas, but guess what? You're still going to take that holiday, that 4th of July vacation. You can still eat out. So I'm going to need you to calm down and back off because it feeds into this fear, and then this fear feeds into people making decisions that creates the very thing that they're fearful of.
That face kind of sums the whole thing up right there. Jesus Christ,
Can you
man.
take a day off for 4th of July and still eat? Well, shut up.
I mean, it really speaks to the fact that the Democrats appeal only really to the upper middle classes who can have enough capital saved up to be able to afford all of their missteps and all of their mistakes and everything that blows up in their face. The working class people who, is suddenly going to go from 2 meals a day to 1 or maybe even just less than that, this will not appeal to them somehow.
Yeah, I love how if you're not living as a North Korean, well, you're doing well, so shut up. Under Biden, that's good. You're doing all right. It was like, okay, weird condemnation of your own regime there. But I love it. I actually love it. I actually want more of this. I want to see more of them literally just saying, the let them eat cake narrative of just...
It really is coming across like that, isn't it? The ruling elite have gone completely off the rails.
Yeah, well, they're desperate. They've got nothing left, so all they've got left is shut up, stop complaining. Well, that's it. That's all they've got. As you can see here from The Spectator as well, this goes back to the let them eat Teslas situation. You may remember this. And the best one here being Buttigieg at the time saying, is gas too expensive? We'll just buy a Tesla.
Because electricity prices aren't going up at all.
No, but also just buy a $60,000 car.
Yeah.
Okay, good advice, I suppose. And there was also Stephen Colbert at the time saying that he'd pay $15 for gas because he drives a Tesla. So don't worry about it, of course. And I love it. We'll end this off with just a meme from J Prime 85 from Twitter, of course. Here being, are you suffering with the price of gas? Well, an extra $1 or $2 is a small price to pay for a clear conscience. Bye-bye.
Flies away on his carriage.
Yeah, and there you have it. And I saw all these clips blown up yesterday. I thought we had to do a segment about it because I'm just amazed by the open contempt by the regime at this point. Just being like, hey, you have a problem with gas? Well, the gas companies just lower the price. Like, why would they bankrupt themselves for you, of all people? I mean, someone who literally said, I'm going to destroy you and your industry. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the live hangouts we do sometimes. This one on Mega City 1 is not an aspirational future. And if you want to follow what else Carl is putting out, you can follow him on Getter at Carl Benjamin on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.